Yes, yes, I did shave the beard. What do you want from me? Okay. Anyways, let's talk about. I'm sorry. Let's talk about Superman 78. This is a comic series. This is my next installment of my Superman series of reviews and lead up to the new Superman movie. Superman 78 is a comic line that is a sequel to the Christopher Reeve movies. It doesn't really take place after any individual sequel, so honestly, if you want to say these took place after Superman 2 or 3 or 4 or even the first one, it really doesn't matter. Personally, I had canon that in this timeline, this story does not exist in the universe of Superman 3 and 4. This is the real Superman 3. That's in my head canon. But, that is up for you to decide how you feel when reading this. But there's 2 volumes of this. I'm reviewing the first volume, which is just called Superman 78. I forget what the other one's called, but I'll be reviewing that one next week. And then we'll talk about Superman Returns and then do Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman. But I want to talk about these comics, because I've been meaning to check these out for a while anyways. And, we're done talking about the Christopher Reeve movies. Next year we'll be doing the Supergirl movie, which in a way ties in with the Christopher Reeve movies. This movie, or not movie, sorry, comic, is a mixed bag. I do think overall it is worth reading if you are a fan of the old Christopher Reeve movies. If you're a fan of those, check this out. Don't get me wrong, it's worth a read. It's fun, it's entertaining. But usually when you make comics like this that are based on a piece of media, you usually want them to do their own thing while capturing the tone of that original thing. And this does that to some extent, but largely I think this does not feel like would be a movie that would have been made, right? It does feel like a comic continuation of it a little bit. Let me explain. Gene Hackman played Lex Luthor, R.I.P., but a lot of his dialogue in this comic feels like Lex Luthor dialogue and not Gene Hackman dialogue, which in some ways is better because it's more accurate to Superman, like the character and the writings, but this is not a sequel to the Superman comics of the time. This is a sequel to the Christopher Reeve movie, so that is kind of a little bit of a vibe that did kind of throw me for a loop for a minute. Brainiac is a good choice as a villain. He wasn't in the original movies, and you can kind of do some stuff there, but also, being those movies were made in the 70s, they clearly didn't have the budget, so it kind of feels like an extension of those movies, while also not. Feels like it's doing something that those movies can never do, which is kind of fun. So overall, like I said, worth reading. It's got some good art. I really like some of these character designs. Certain shots of them aren't great, but for the most part, they really do capture the tone and vibe of those stories. So if you love the Christopher Reeve movies, check this out. It's pretty good. So I think these are much better than the Batman 1989 comics. I'm not really a fan of those. At least the first one. I've not read the second one. I still waiting on my pre-order for that. I guess I think for that, even though I think they stopped releasing issues months ago, but sure, whatever. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe.